Boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rob Keating and I'm here to help you navigate the wall of information that is the stock market. Firstly, carrying on from yesterday's video, I was talking about National Express, which were up 6 or 9% early in the day, and they came back down, which is great news for the channel. Yesterday, which was Tuesday, April 26th, was a down day, pullback in everything, Nike, Boeing, Walt Disney, JP Morgan, they were all down. And yesterday ended up finishing like this with all the sectors being down. This is the S&P 11 sectors, apart from energy. And I was going to come back to you and say what's going to happen next. And this video is currently 24 hours late. So what did happen was oil and gas was actually up, and now lots of earnings were actually missed yesterday. So all the companies missed their estimates. Why did all these companies miss their estimates? We really want to understand what's going on behind the scenes so we can predict outcomes and we can understand what's going to happen in the future. Now, in the last video I was looking at the Hang Seng, the Hong Kong exchange, and saying that all these companies, web-based shopping, audio solutions provider, power tools, Alibaba, automotive, all went up, and this was consumer. So I was rummaging around this idea of consumer. However, if energy is up, if oil and gas are up, and goods are still being transported, then you'll think it's shipping. So last night I put this together, a shipping list of 31 stocks, and then oil transportation also shipping. Notice how I'm narrowing it down to smaller and smaller components so we can predict outcomes. And then the shipping list looks something like this. American Shipping Company, Maersk was up yesterday because they beat earnings, or their EPS was ahead, something was ahead yesterday. Costco Shipping, etc., etc. And then oil transportation shipping. Now, when I looked at the oil transportation shipping this morning, they were all up. If you notice, this list is actually sorted alphabetically, and they're all up. DHT, Euronav, Frontline, Scorpio Tankers, TK. So now, this time, we're going to go through the same process and we're going to figure out what's going to be up tomorrow. That'll be the 28th. So firstly, these are the stocks I've been looking at generally for this channel, and they've all pulled up today. Apart from Wolfspeed at the bottom, which is a bit of a long-term play. This is the company that's accelerating the transition of silicon to silicon carbide. That's all the stuff used in electronic components, the stuff that actually conducts electricity, that it's all made of. This silicon carbide stuff is 10 times more efficient at what it does. So that's a long-term play here, so that's okay. But being up is good news for the channel. So today, 7:30 PM UK time, everything in the markets has pulled up today apart from S&P Communication Services. This is the 11 S&P sectors which break all the stocks down so you can understand what on earth is going on in the stock market. Crude oil has pulled back slightly. That's WTI and Brent crude oil. So what I'm looking at here is the sectors. I want to use the power of the mystic crystal ball and look at these sectors here and say what is going to happen next. Now, when you've been watching CNBC, Bloomberg, reading this stuff all day, what you're looking for is what hasn't been spoken about. If there's stuff you're seeing and hearing about all day, then it's already moved, it's already happened, the chances of it going higher or lower. There's too much attention. So what I'm looking for is things which haven't been highlighted as activities so far. And scrolling down this list here, I see financial services. I see if the markets are back up and if things are changing once all these earnings have come out, then surely there's going to be some kind of financial stability. So I looked through financial services, I looked through the Russell 2000, which is smaller companies. Banks, I don't know. So I'm looking at Wall Street banks here, and I see JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and I ask myself what's happening in the world right now. So if you look at the indexes today, this is the US, Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell 2000, they're all up. It's good for the world. Same in Europe as well. DAX, FTSE, CAC, AX, IBEX, SMI, Portugal, all up as well. Belgium's down 0.12%, but we'll leave that out. And here, the MOEX is up 4.56% today. That's the Russian exchange. I did a video on this before about what's going on. And then as I'm making this video, watching CNBC, final trades are BHP and Freeport-McMoran. Those are both commodities. So what's happening with commodities? If we look at the price of copper, which I've taken from Markets Insider here, copper's slightly up today. So what's actually happening overall with the price of copper? Copper is an economic indicator. When the price of copper goes down, generally that means the economy is going to be doing better. When the price of copper goes up, it means the economy is going to be doing worse off. The price fluctuates with the economy, so it's quite a good indicator of what's going on. So if we look at the chart here, I can see that copper is now priced over the last 6 months at what it was just after the war in Ukraine. So it's plummeted, which means the economy is going to go up. So if I look at some banking league tables here, I've got a chart from the FT.com, top 10 banks and fees in the last year to date 2022. Now this year probably isn't what we want to look at if we're trying to learn about a bank in a very short space of time. So if I go here to last year, 2021, organised by fees in millions. And if I go down the list, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America Securities, and then go across, I can see that Bank of America is evenly split between mergers and acquisitions, equity, bonds and loan. 24, 24, 28, 24. Now that sticks out to me to the other companies. Now, there's so much to go into in this sort of stuff. I haven't got time to, become a banking expert by the time I put this video out. Then if I break these numbers down, I can look at it by equity here. So this is now the percentage of fees collected by product 2021 for equity, for stocks. So follow-on, convertible, IPO, change in fees versus previous periods. I mean, what on earth is a follow-on offering? A follow-on offering is an issue of stock after a company's initial public offering. So banks collect fees for doing this kind of stuff and organising it for them. So what I want to try and do is break down Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley and Bank of America and ask myself, why this one? Why am I thinking Bank of America? Because of this breakdown of how they earned fees last year. What I did notice is the MOEX. If you look further at the Russian stock exchange, the MOEX, it's actually up 10.8% this week. Why? What's going on there? If I look at the companies here, organised by what's risen in 1 week, we're saying we've got a bank, construction, food, aluminium, oil and gas, natural energy, and steel, which are all up this week. Now, where there's a pattern, you're going to be able to predict outcomes. You can see here, everything is at a loss year to date, but it's up over the month and the week, apart from a few exceptions. I can then confirm this by the companies I looked at previously on this channel, Foss Agro and Polyus, which are up just 3% and 2% in the week respectively, which means everything else has risen apart from those two original companies we looked at, which were staying high when everything else is low. Okay, so that's a repeatable pattern here. And if I look at the daily gains in Russia, organised by day this time, 20%, 15%, 14%, 10%. That's investment, tech, retail, food. So there's been a massive pull up in Russia, probably because of the tech rebound and everything that's been going on in the world today. So what I want to distinguish is between the four banks we're looking at, which one will be up tomorrow based on what we found so far, based on the activity today. So what isn't being priced in where? So if I have a quick look at the annual reports here, Bank of America, driving responsible growth, 8 lines of business, consumer banking, global wealth, global banking, global markets. Quite a steady, strong overview of what the bank does. Goldman Sachs annual report, committed to providing loans, launched 10,000 small businesses voices. This again is Goldman Sachs. The chart below represents our 4 segments and their revenue sources. Okay, Morgan Stanley, institutional securities, revenues, investment banking, equity, wealth management, net revenues essentially unchanged, investment management, JP Morgan. Looking at this financial chart here, the question I'm asking myself is, why would this company benefit from what we're talking about, this rebound in stocks, what's happening with Russia, and what we have seen rotate from oil and gas to oil and gas transportation, that is shipping, that's going to happen tomorrow. So if I look here, advanced racial equality, earnings diluted per share. So earnings diluted per share, the orange line, diluted EPS, has been up. Okay. Book value, average stock price. The stock price has rocketed already. So what I'm saying is, on today, Wednesday, April 27th, USA is up, Europe is up, Russia is up. To me, these Wall Street banks stick out. For simplicity, we'll stick with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley. And looking at the performance last year, fees collected by products, they're steady across what it is they do. The patterns of Russia means prediction. So are these large banks going to rise tomorrow because of this stuff that's happening in Russia now? My bet is yes, it is. And all this stuff that's happening with the gas in Russia, stay away from banks like Deutsche Bank because they're going to suffer because of what's going on here. So for me, Bank of America is the bank to go on. Now, I hope I'm right. Last night I was looking at this, shipping and then shipping, oil transportation. And then today, oil transportation stocks were all up. But in this video, I've identified a single stock and a small group of companies, which I'm labeling Wall Street banks, the 4. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley. But please be a bit patient at what I've said because I might be a bit early because this stuff in Russia is slightly crazy and I've heard, watching CNBC and Bloomberg, nothing on the news today about this. And then just lastly, as I was filming this, this came up on CNBC, JD, Baidu Alibaba, and Pinduoduo. This is the stuff from the video yesterday. So it's great news for the channel. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment. I'll get back to you. See you in the next one.
See the wizard, the wonderful